I want to ask you, where were you first of all, this day last year?
In bed. I think I was watching Baron Davis highlights of all people to be watching. And then I got my like a DM from like a group chat and they were all like, "No way, Kobe died." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I like looked at it and it said TMZ reported. And you know how TMZ is. If they report it, there's like a 99.99% chance that it's true. And I was like, "Damn." I like ran out to the living room. I was like, "Dad, Kobe died." He was like, "No way," because it's like obviously we're Celtics fans, right? So we have a disdain for the Lakers, but like you put all that aside whenever you get in that moment, because that's one of the greatest players that ever played the game, and for him to die, man, that was crazy. And I remember like jumping out of bed and just sprinting out there. It was one of those things where like everybody knows exactly where they were whenever that happened.
I remember for me, I was in the shower and I was listening to a podcast actually. I was in the
Mm-hmm.
shower and my phone starts blowing up. So I'm like, okay, this is weird because my phone doesn't usually blow up on a Sunday morning. Like I was just like, there's no
Mm-hmm.
sports going on, there's nothing going on. Something's up, right? Something was weird. And I just ignored it because I was like, whatever, I'm in the shower, blah blah blah. 2 minutes later, my phone continues to blow up, continues to just different notifications, Bleacher Report, the news, all this stuff was coming on my phone. And I was like, what is going on? So I go on my phone as I'm in the shower. I grab my phone and I see that it says TMZ has reported Kobe Bryant has died in a helicopter crash. And the first thing I did was I just screamed. I was like, what the hell? And I kept saying that over and over again because I was in shock. And I didn't know, like at that point, I don't know if I brushed my teeth, I don't know if I shampooed, I don't remember. I came out and I went straight to my room, put on my clothes, went downstairs because I went to go tell my dad, same thing as you. And the funny thing is my dad's the same way. So we used to watch Kobe a lot too, right? So when we watched him, we were just kind of like, how is this happening? Like, we watched Kobe a lot. And we were both big fans as he was in later in his career. Seeing what happened and seeing that on the news was really shocking, especially seeing on my phone. My dad, he's more of an old head, so he was like, he doesn't believe, like before when I used to tell him about Twitter, he used to think that people run people's Twitter accounts. Like he didn't believe that there were actually celebrities tweeting back at people using a Twitter. Like he didn't believe in social
Yeah.
media because he didn't know it. And I kept telling him like TMZ saying it, TMZ saying it. And he's like, no, the news hasn't reported it. Like I don't believe it. My dad was in denial. He's like, no, no, no. And I'm like, I'm telling you, he's dead. And then the crazy thing was, and I saw a tweet from Matt Barnes that day was exactly how I felt. He said we all expected Kobe to be like a superhero and just somehow come out and be like, oh, he saved Gigi and he's actually not on the plane. He actually ended up saving her and they're both alive. We were all like, I think the hardest part was just not being able to see that and really having to cope with the fact that he was gone. I went to breakfast out at a restaurant and I mean, I just felt numb. I couldn't feel anything. I didn't know what was happening. I was texting my friend Raven and we were in a group chat
What
talking.
up, Raven?
Shout out to Raven. He's a big supporter. I texted him and I was like, I don't want to like blah blah blah. And he's like, we need to play basketball. I was like, I don't want to touch a basketball right now. Like I'm sick, right? I was like, I can't even imagine touching a basketball. Like this is Kobe's game to me. But we ended up going and playing, and it was like it just felt like every shot was just like this is for Kobe. And it was like I know that sounds cliche, sounds corny, but it's really not. If you know Kobe, if you grew up watching basketball, if you're an NBA fan, if you even grew up watching sports, you understand the impact Kobe had, especially for someone like us who are in our 20s. We've watched a lot of him. You, as a Celtics fan, Caleb, you've been able to watch a lot of Kobe, right?
Mm-hmm. I still like it was weird because even like last night, I was still like I don't know. Before I go to bed, I enjoy watching vintage highlights and stuff of old players. And Kobe popped up in the recommended. I was like, I'm gonna check it out. And like you just watch him, and then you think like, damn, like he's gone. Like it's really hard to accept the fact that he's gone. Even a year later, it's like it's still weird. It's like I don't know, man. It's really weird.
It's hard to swallow for sure. I mean, I think it's one of our, like I said, first real celebrity deaths that we've experienced that have hit home. And And the impact, the stuff that Kobe did for the game, coming to like we talk about a guy like Shaq. Caleb texts me all the time about how much he can't stand Shaq because Shaq's corny, because Shaq hates on all these young guys. He hates on the game, right? And Kobe was the exact opposite. He loved young players. He loved helping them out. He
Mm-hmm.
worked with Jason Tatum. He worked with De'Aaron Fox. He worked with DeMar DeRozan. He worked with Gordon Hayward. He worked with Giannis Antetokounmpo. He challenged Giannis to win MVP, and Giannis won back-to-back MVPs. He worked with Isaiah Thomas, and he's worked with tons and tons of players, and whether that's actually on a basketball court or whether that's just talking to them, he's made so much of an impact. And even with his daughter, like with Gigi, he would take her to games all the time. The fact that he would go to WNBA games